Today I'm going to be looking at these supernatural plant-based food coloring. So these are natural food colors. They don't have anything artificial in them. They're vegan, they're gluten-free, and it says 3 times more vibrant than other natural food coloring. So I'm not a big fan of natural food coloring in general, but I did use this. I used the red and the green version of this to mix up this red and this green, and they came out pretty well. But the way that I got it to be this dark is that I only used the powder. And the instructions on these are to mix them into some water and then put the liquid into the icing. And what that does is it gives you a lighter version of the color. And if you mix the powder directly into the icing, it gives you the darker version. There's not a lot in here, so you need to be careful. So you get 1 package of each color, and it's the primaries and then an orange. And I guess those are the easiest natural food colors to make. So let's try this out. I want to see what the yellow is made out of. Let's see. The yellow is made out of beta carotene, which I believe comes from carrots. That's that kind of thing. So it's not made from turmeric, which does give you yellow, but it tastes that way. So I'm hoping that this is a good yellow. And I'm not even going to put it in water. I'm just going to mix it directly into the icing to see what happens. And this gets activated, apparently it gets activated with the liquid. So you can mix it into the icing, or you mix it into the liquid to make the color. But since there's liquid in icing, it should activate it anyway and give us the color. So let's see. Okay, it is getting a little bit darker as I'm mixing it, but I need to put more of this in. And I did not put very much in, so let's just, oops. I can feel that there's still more in the packet, so we'll leave that there. Actually, let me fold this up, because I can see that it's going to get everywhere. And we'll see what this does. Okay, this is a very pale orangey yellow, but I think it would work. And you know, obviously you can mix this in with the liquid to make a liquid version of it, and it's probably going to give you a lighter version of this. That's okay. I think this is kind of like an egg yellow. I would call this more of an orange, like a very pale orange. But this will be good for like the centers of flowers. This is not a bright, sunny yellow. It is yellow, but I think it works. It's just very orange. All right, so let's look next at the blue. And the blue is made from spirulina extract. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. That's okay. Oh, look, it's getting all over me. Okay. So be careful when you open the package. Oh, that's a pretty blue. Okay. Oh, man, that was wrong. And I squeezed the bag and that exploded everywhere, so I had to clean that up. Just be careful when you're handling this powder because it will, these little packages do kind of go everywhere. But this is a pretty blue. And I don't think that this is going to be any problem. This will be absolutely no problem to make a nice blue color. So that's really good. Okay, so this does give you a nice blue. And again, you can mix this in with liquid if you want a lighter version that you can kind of spread out with larger amounts of icing. But that's a really pretty blue. I would use this in things like icing on cookies, like royal icing to put on cookies, or to pipe onto a cake with details of like flowers and that kind of thing. I don't know that I would cover a whole cake with this unless you made it a really light color, because the more icing you put in there, obviously the color is going to be lighter. But that's a really nice blue, so we will put that here. I've already done the red. Let me take this off because now it has the blue on it. And this has actually been sitting here for a while. But that's a really good red color with this. So if you're looking for a good natural red color, just use this straight in the icing and it'll give you a better color than it will if you mix it up in the water. And the last one that we have is the orange. I am going to do this and try to get it down so that it won't explode everywhere like the blue did. That's a good orange color. Just be careful with it. Okay, let's see what this looks like. And I think that these colors will, as you stir it, they will get darker because I can see that it's still kind of granular in there right now. But as it absorbs the liquid from the icing, it will activate the color and make it a little bit darker. I can see that the more I'm stirring it, the darker it's getting. So definitely give yourself time to mix this up. And you can also let it sit for a while because sometimes that'll help it to absorb the moisture, or put it in water. You know, I mean, that's how you're supposed to use it, honestly. You're supposed to dissolve it. I just find that it's easier to put it directly in to get the brighter color. Now, if you do want to dissolve it, make sure that you're taking, like when you make the icing, you're removing that amount of liquid, because if you put a lot of liquid into icing, it's going to thin it out so much that it might not be workable. Now I can see that this, I'm not sure if you can see that this is not dissolving as quickly. So what I would do if that happens is let it sit for a while, or add some liquid to it and see what happens with that. Maybe I'll go get a dropper of water. Okay, I have a little eyedropper. I'm going to add this in, 4 drops. And that's going to thin the icing out. So just be careful if you're adding any kind of liquid food coloring, or liquid at all, is just going to thin the icing out. So you want to be careful not to thin it more than you actually want to. And I can see there's still a lot of granules of the orange in here, because I do think that this is going to be darker once all of this, and I don't know how much you can see, but you can see like little flakes of the color in there. That's just the powder that hasn't dissolved. But once it absorbs some moisture from the icing, it should soften up and you should be able to mix it in. And I can see it's a very pale orange color. It's all right. It's definitely compared to the yellow, it's more orange. Here's orange versus yellow. But it's like a very light pale orange. And this might be one that you need to dissolve in the water first. Actually follow the directions. I tend not to follow the directions, you know. But this might be one that you need to dissolve in the water first to make sure that it does actually dissolve, because this just is not mixing in like the other ones, but it is giving a nice color. It's a nice pale orange color. All right, so I love this blue. I really think that these are good options if you are looking for natural food colorings. Putting the powder directly into the icing is going to give you a stronger color. It's going to give you a brighter color. And remember, this does come in this set and this set. So you can get the green here, or you can mix the green using the blue and the yellow, because blue and yellow make green. So either way, I think it's a good set. You just have to use it judiciously. And be careful with the powder, because it's going to explode everywhere like it did for me. I would keep a set of this on hand in case you do need the natural colors, because this is a better natural color than other brands that I've tried. And it's good to have on hand in case you need that for a customer who has food allergies, or they just want to avoid the artificial colors entirely.